What's up, Redken family? I'm Redken Global Artistic Ambassador Maggie Perry, and today I'm going to be showcasing a blonding and blending technique using the Shades ALK and Blonde IQ 9+, and finishing it off with the new bandage balm. Let's get into it. Okay, so Riley is the perfect candidate for Shades ALK. She has some graying, her hair is on the finer side, so we're gonna be able to get up to 75% coverage on those grays. But first, I'm gonna start with some highlights, because do you wanna look a little bit blonder?
I do.
I'm not surprised. So we are gonna go in with Blonde IQ 9+ and 20 volume, and I'm gonna do a little face frame and some highlights on top, and then we will do the gray coverage in between. So let's start with the face framing highlights. I'm gonna go in off her natural part, and where her hair starts to recede, I'm gonna push down, and then I'm gonna take a 1.5-inch section in the front, about 1 inch, on both sides. Our main focus is gonna be this pop in the front. It'll accentuate this little natural gray streak that she already has, so it will grow out nicely. And then I'm gonna take my comb, and from this end point of this front section, I'm just gonna put my comb there and then drag down to her ear. And this section is about 2 inches thick. I like to make the section below the ear a little bit thicker and do a little bit more foils on the sides than up at the front. What this does is it makes that money piece pop without doing that thickness up here. So it'll be thin here, and then this thickness by the ears is gonna make that blonde pop. Okay, I'm gonna do the face framing part, and then we'll move into what I'm gonna do on top. We're gonna start by her ears. I'm gonna move this little front piece out of the way. Whenever I'm doing these side sections, I always ask, do you wear your hair up a lot?
I do.
You do? Okay. If you do a vertical section straight off of the face, it's gonna give you a really nice blonde pop, but unfortunately, when people pull their hair back really tight, you can see a line of demarcation with that regrowth really easily. So if people tend to wear their hair down most of the time, I will do it like this because you get more of an impact. However, if they wear their hair up, it's smarter to start like so, diagonal back, more horizontal. This way it will grow out nicer and it will look better pulled back. So you have your options there. You just have to make sure that you're asking the right questions when you're doing your face frame. So I'm gonna go in thin sections, diagonal back, and I'm gonna use my blow dryer here to create dimension. I don't want a lot of dimension around her face. I do want high impact, so I'm gonna hold the hair closer to the scalp. This will release less hair. If you want more dimension, you hold lower down, and that's gonna give you more dimension. So there we have our little pieces. It's gonna give us high impact blonde around her face, but with that little bit of dimension that we blew out. Going in with my Blonde IQ, I mixed it at a 1:1 ratio for a little bit of a thicker consistency. And now I'm gonna continue that same process, and I'm gonna work my way up like so, all the way up to the temple. The thinner the sections, the better the blend, but the thicker they are, the more high impact you have. So it just depends on what the goal is. We want it to grow out really nice. She doesn't get her hair done that often. So the thinner sections are gonna give us more of a blend. So again, really just customizing to your client's lifestyle. Perfect. Nice, clean foil work. Whenever I'm gonna be doing gray coverage or color in between foils, you always have to think about the hair that's popping out of the foils. You don't want that to be touching the color. So I always like to make sure that I'm ahead of the game with that fallout, and I like to fold the hair into the foil so that it's already pre-protected. Don't have to worry about it. Little tip with the board, after you blow dry the hair down, grab the hair with your left hand, place your board underneath, push up with the board, take your right hand, grab the small hair, and then push. So you don't need an assistant to use a board or to use the blow dryer to create dimension. Since I'm doing thin sections, I don't have to oversaturate, just a nice, thin, consistent layer of the Blonde IQ, and we're gonna get a beautiful, perfect, healthy lift. I'm gonna continue working my way up all the way to here. All right, so that completes our side section. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, and then I'll bring you guys back to show you what I'm gonna do for this main part, this face framing part. All right, team, moving on to the front. We're gonna do something a little bit different here. We're gonna work our way parallel to the end of the section. And for our first section, I'm gonna take a little bit thicker of a slice. I'm gonna use my blow dryer to create that dimension, but I'm actually gonna grab this underneath section and I'm gonna clip this top section away. I'm gonna grab these little pieces here. I'm gonna hold them high up. Blow dry down these little tiny guys. And I'm going to highlight this section as well. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna create more of a pop by utilizing these internal hairs. It's different than doing a slice because it creates dimension using the blow dryer, so you're not gonna have as harsh of lines as you would if you took 2 slices. It's those little details that make a big difference, a nice blend, while still creating a bold piece in the front. So highlighting these internal hairs. I'm gonna take the section that I clipped up, down, and I'm gonna highlight that one as well. So it's like doing 2 slices, but because you use the blow dryer, the hairs are a little bit more crossed. It's almost like teasing, but you have access to all of the hair because you didn't push any of it up. And then right behind that section, I'm going to do the same thing without blow drying down those little tiny hairs. I just did that around the hairline to make sure that we had a good blend for when she pulls it back. Taking my next piece. Blow drying down, taking that top section, clipping it back. Highlighting these internal hairs. And then bringing this top section down. So you should have 4 foils in total for this look. If you want it to be more bold, you can go ahead and repeat this process again for a thicker face frame. So now moving to the foils behind it. We're gonna move back into the standard foiling that we were doing on the sides. Blow drying that dimension down. Now we will utilize the dimension. Okay, we finished up this section at the top. Now I'm gonna repeat the same thing on this side, and then we'll move on to the back of the head. Okay, so we finished up the face framing, and a quick tip to make things more comfortable for your client with foils, I like to take cotton strips and I will place them underneath each section, like so. So what this does is it elevates the foils off of the face so it's more comfortable for the client while they're sitting there, and it also releases the foil from the skin. You have to remember that our bodies are really hot. That's why the foils around the face tend to process faster than everything else, because they're exposed to that skin and that heat. So by elevating it, you're also gonna protect their hairline and get a more consistent lift throughout. Let's move on to the top. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the end of the sections around the money piece, these points right here by the recession, and I'm gonna pull straight back to where the head starts to round. And then I'm gonna cut across right over the round of the head. So we just have one big section here. I'm gonna clip the rest of this off. We're just gonna highlight this mohawk area. So I'm gonna be doing thicker sections for here. It's gonna create more ribbons of blonde, and I'm gonna start more spaced out, and then I'll start moving in closer and closer together as we get to the front. What that's gonna do is it's gonna create a gradient from light to dark. So about a ½ inch thick here on our first section. Now I'm gonna hold the hair lower down because we wanna create more dimension. You remember in the front, I told you the closer you hold it, the less hair that's gonna fall down. We want a little more dimension in these back pieces, so I'm gonna hold it further out. So you can see we have much more dimension in these back pieces. Slightly feathering and scrubbing at the base to create even more of a blend. I'm gonna lightly run it through the ends to clean those up. Perfect. Thick sections. Holding far down for lots of dimension. Doing a little scrubby blend at the top. I'm gonna repeat that 3 more times. Okay, We're gonna continue doing the same thing. All I'm gonna do is reduce my section size by about 1/4 of an inch. So just a little bit thinner. We're gonna do about 3 of those, and then we'll shrink it down by another 1/4 inch. Now we're gonna move on to our finer sections towards the front of the face. So about 1/4 of an inch thick, and we're gonna do that all the way up the front for the remainder of this section. All right, we are finished with the foiling portion of our application, and just for a quick recap, we used the blow dryer to create dimension. We did around her face in thin sections, a few back-to-back foils around the front of her face to create more of a pop, using the cotton to elevate the foils to release the foils from the heat and make it more comfortable. Then we moved into a wide mohawk section on the back, and we started with thicker sections and then worked our way up to thinner and thinner sections. What this does is it creates a gradient in the highlights. So in the back, there will be more dimension because of the thickness of the sections, and as we move forward, creating those thinner sections, it will be more blonde towards the front. Let's move on to the base color. She is the perfect candidate for Shades ALK. She is a natural level 7. I would say that she is about 30% gray. So we are gonna use Shades ALK. It's the power of color and the care of a gloss, so her hair is going to feel amazing afterwards. The tones I chose are 7AG and 8NA. Her hair is naturally very ashy, so I wanna maintain that, but I'm gonna add some of the gold back into the formula with the AG. So these two are gonna balance each other out really nicely and create the perfect base for us. We're gonna do 40 grams of 7AG and 30 grams of 8NA. So the 7AG will be our dominant tone. So 70 grams total. We are going to mix it 1 to 1.5 with 10 volume. So we are going to mix in 105 grams of developer and then mix that together. Really nice for a root application. I'm obsessed with the consistency. Okay, I'm gonna start by flipping all of these foils up. I'm gonna go in with my ALK formula, trace this section. And all the way around her hairline. I'm going to start from the bottom, dragging my formula over the natural. I'm gonna brush it through slightly for a blend. You know when you're applying the color and you can see it processing a little bit and you already know it's gonna be perfect? It's a good feeling. Okay, now that I'm done with that interior hair, I'm gonna go in between the foils, applying it to the base lightly where the foils are, and then pulling down on each dropout section. Lightly feathering into the pre-existing color. And I'm just gonna do that in between all of these sections. All right, we are done with our ALK application. Now she looks like Jimmy Neutron. ALK. And now we're gonna let it process for 20 minutes. All right, guys, look at this beautiful raw lift that the Blonde IQ gave us, and this base color is so perfect. Look at the beautiful coverage we got. It matches her natural color really well. It blended the grays out just enough. So now let's put the final touches on it with a toner. So I'm gonna use Shades ALK, 10P and clear. I'm gonna do half and half. I just wanna cut a little bit of this warmth. She likes it to be a little bit more icy, and she has a little bit of brassiness in the ends, so this is gonna knock that right out. I'm gonna do equal parts 10P and clear with 10 volume at a 1 to 1.5 ratio. So 30 grams of clear and 30 grams of 10P. So 150 grams total with our 1 to 1.5 ratio. Mix this up, then we're gonna do a global application all over. I'm just gonna leave the front pieces out. I'm gonna do those very, very last so they maintain a little bit more brightness. And then we're gonna let it process for 20 minutes on dry hair. All right, I'm gonna apply this color mids to ends in the back. I love toning with the ALK because it makes the hair feel so good. Combing it through. Now, as I get to the sections where I started the highlights, I'm gonna bring it up to where the highlights start and pull through. So I'm not fully saturating the root. I'm mostly focusing on where the highlights are and then saturating the mids and the ends. Moving to the sides, working in vertical sections and pulling them back. I'm gonna do that all the way through the whole head, doing those front pieces very last. All right, now I'm gonna apply to these front pieces. I'm so excited, this already looks so good. Alrighty, we are gonna let her process for 20 minutes, and then I'll bring you back to show you the final result. All right, guys, we finished her styling. We did a full roller set. I'm gonna top it off with some of the Control hairspray, just lightly over the top for some nice, strong hold. Now let's take this down together. It's a really satisfying part. I want you to be a part of it. Gorgeous. Boom. Look at this gorgeous finished result. I love the way that it blended in her gray beautifully. Matches her natural color perfectly. The highlights tie everything together and her hair feels absolutely amazing. But now I want to finish it off with the Redken Bandage Balm. So the Redken Acidic Bonding Concentrate Hair Bandage Balm, it's a leave-in treatment and it instantly repairs, seals, and strengthens damaged, dry, or over-processed hair ends. It provides up to 96% seal on split ends, 5 times less breakage, 12 times smoother hair, and 450 Fahrenheit heat protection. It's lightweight, it's not greasy, and it works on all hair types. I like to think of it as lip balm for the hair. This is a great product to finish your clients with. It's great for in the salon and on the go. Feels good on your skin too, man. I also love the size of this product. You can keep it in your purse next to your lip balm so you ain't got chapped lips or ends, okay, girl? Just rubbing it between my hands, going through the ends. And I'm gonna send her home with this, and this will be part of her routine to keep her hair nice and healthy. I feel like if you use this consistently as well, it will prevent split ends. All right, guys, I hope that you love this technique. You can totally take this one back to the salon and make sure and try the new Shades ALK and the bandage balm, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.